Hey up me duck YouTube. I've started a new series today. It is called A History of Your Club. Today I'm looking at Arsenal Football Club and their history. I'll be doing in logical order, alphabetical order of the Premier League. No particular reason, just for that. So straight into it. It started a long time ago in the chilly autumn of October 1886 with this Scottish person called David Danskin and his 15 fellow workers in a munitions factory in Woolwich, which at that time was in Kent. Now it's in southeast London. The first name of Arsenal was actually Dial Square, with each member of the club contributing a sixpence, and Danskin added another 3 shillings to help form the club. It was actually named after the Royal Arsenal complex, which they took the name of the whole complex a month later to become Royal Arsenal Football Club. And they started off in the first football ground of Plumstead Common, though they spent most of their time in southeast London on the other side of Plumstead at the Manor Ground. Royal Arsenal won their first trophy as the Kent Senior Cup and the London Charity Cup in 1889 to 90, and the London Senior Cup in 1890-91. These were the only Football Association trophies which Arsenal has won during their time in southeast London, as in 1891, Royal Arsenal became the first London club, in fact, to turn professional. Sorry, just a minute, I forgot to plug in my device. Bit embarrassing. Not to worry, it's just by the side here. Royal Arsenal then renamed themselves for the second time, becoming a limited liability company in 1893, and was Woolwich Arsenal. And later that year they joined the Football League, and Woolwich Arsenal was actually the first southern member of the Football League, starting out in the second division, and they won promotion to the first division in 1904. They had falling attendances, however, due to financial difficulties amongst the munitions workers and arrival of more football clubs elsewhere in London. This made the club very close to bankruptcy, actually, in 1910, but the businessman Henry Norris and William Hall became involved with the club and sought them to move elsewhere. So in 1913, soon after they got relegated to the second division, Woolwich Arsenal moved to the new Arsenal Stadium in Highbury, also known as Highbury Stadium, as many of you would probably know it, in North London. This then saw a third change of the name, coincidentally, the following year. They reduced the Woolwich Arsenal to simply the Arsenal. In 1919, the Football League voted to promote the Arsenal instead of relegated local rivals Tottenham Hotspur into the newly enlarged First Division, despite listing the club 6th in the second division's last pre-war season of 1914-15. Some people have speculated that they won this election by dubious means. I'm not one to say, but I'm pretty certain Tottenham fans would say else. Later that year, the Arsenal started to drop the in official documents, gradually shifting its name towards just Arsenal, as it is tend to be known today. So with a new home and First Division football, attendances more than double than those of the Manor Ground, and so Arsenal's budget grew rapidly. Their location and record-breaking salary offered just lured the star Huddersfield Town manager Herbert Chapman in 1925, and over the next 5 years, Chapman built a new Arsenal. He appointed enduring new trainer Tom Whitaker, implemented Charlie Buchanan's new twist on the nascent WM formation, which I don't know what that means at the moment, but I presume it was just a formation back then. He captured young players like Cliff Bastin and Eddie Hapgood, and lavished Highbury's income on stars like David Jack and Alex James. He had record-breaking spending matching with the gate receipts. Arsenal quickly became known as the Bank of England club. Transformed, it seems, Chapman's Arsenal claimed their first national trophy, the FA Cup, in 1930. Following that was 2 league championships in 1930-31 and 1932-33. Chapman also presided over multiple off-the-pitch changes, with white sleeves and shirt numbers added to the kit. In fact, a tube station was even named after the club, and the first of 2 opulent Art Deco stands was completed, with some of the first floodlights in English football. Suddenly, though, in the middle of the 1930-34 season, Chapman died, unfortunately, of pneumonia. His work was left to that of Joe Shaw and George Allison, who saw out a hat-trick with the 1933-34 and 1934-35 titles, and then won the 1936 FA Cup and the 1937-38 title. However, World War II meant the Football League was suspended for 7 years, but Arsenal again returned to win it in the second post-war season, in the 1947-48 season. This was Tom Whitaker's first season as manager, and after his promotion to succeed Allison, and the club had qualified the champions of England, had equalled, the champions of England at record. They won the 3rd FA Cup in 1950, and then won a record-breaking 7th championship in 1952-53. However, the war seemed to have taken a toll on Arsenal. The club actually had more players killed than any other top-flight club, and debt from the reconstructing of the North Bank stand pretty much bled Arsenal's resources dry. It looks like dire times were to come. Arsenal, in fact, were not to win the league or the FA Cup for another 18 years, as the 53 champion squad was now old, and the club failed to attract strong enough replacements. Although Arsenal were competitive during their years, their fortunes had started to wane. The club spent most of the 1950s and 1960s in mid-league mediocrity. Even former England captain Billy Wright could not bring the club any success as manager in his stint between 1962 and 1966. Arsenal tentatively then appointed physiotherapist Bertie Mee as acting manager in 1966, with new assistant Don Howe and new players such as Bob McNabb and George Graham. Mee actually led Arsenal to their first League Cup finals in the 1967-68 and 1968-69. Next season saw a breakthrough. Arsenal's first competitive European trophy, the 1969-70 Intercities Fairs Cup, and the season after, an even greater triumph, Arsenal's first League and FA Cup double, and at that time a new Champions of England record. This marked a premature high point of the decade. The double winning side was soon broken up, and the rest of the decade was characterised by a series of near misses, unfortunately, starting with Arsenal finishing as FA Cup runners in 1972 and First Division runners-up in 1972-73. Former player Terry Neal succeeded me in 1976. At the age of 34, he had actually become the youngest Arsenal manager still to date. I believe Mikel Arteta was actually 37 when he took control. New signings like Malcolm McDonald and Pat Jennings, and a crop of talent in the side such as Liam Brady and Frank Stapleton. The club reached a trio of FA Cup finals in 1978, 79 and 80. They lost the 1980 European Cup Winners' Cup final on penalties. The club's only trophy during this time was a last-minute 3-2 victory over Manchester United in the 1979 FA Cup final, which is widely regarded today as a classic. One of Bertie's Me's double winners, George Graham, actually returned as manager in 1986, with Arsenal winning their first League Cup in 1987. After only one season with Graham at the helm. By 1988, new signings such as Nigel Winterburn, Lee Dixon and Steve Bold had joined the club to compete the famous Back Four, which was led by existing player Tony Adams. They then immediately won the 1988 Football League Centenary Trophy and followed it up with the 1988-89 Football League title, snatched with a last-minute goal in the final game of the season against fellow title challengers Liverpool. Graham's Arsenal won another title in 1990-91, losing only one match. They won the FA Cup and League Cup double in 1993 and the European Cup Winners' Cup in 1994. However, Graham's reputation was tarnished when he was found out that he had taken kickbacks from agent Rune Hwaj from signing certain players, and he was sacked in 1995. His permanent replacement, Bruce Rioch, lasted only for one season, leaving the club after a dispute with the board of directors. Looks like it's going bad. You'll be wrong, because the club metamorphosed during the long tenure of Arsene Wenger, who was appointed in 1996 with new attacking football. An overhaul of dietary and fitness practices happen, and efficiency with money have often defined Wenger's reign. He accumulated key players from Wenger's homeland, such as Patrick Vieira and Thierry Henry. Arsenal won a second League and Cup double in 1997-98 and a third in 2001-2. In addition, the club reached the final of the 1999-2000 UEFA Cup and were victorious in the 2003 and 2005 FA Cups, and again won the Premier League in 2003-04 without losing a single match, which has earned themselves the nickname the Invincibles. This latter feat came within a run of 49 league matches unbeaten from the 7th of May 2003 to the 24th of October 2004. This still stands actually as a national record. Arsenal therefore finished either first or second place in the league in the 8 years of Wenger's first 9 seasons at the club, in fact. Although on no occasion did they manage to retain the title, and the club never progressed beyond the quarter-finals of the Champions League until 2005, 6. In that season, they became the first club from London in the competition's 50 years history to reach the final. However, they were beaten 2-1 by Barcelona. In July 2006, they moved into their current stadium of the Emirates Stadium after a 93-year tenure at Highbury. Arsenal reached the final of the 2007 and 2011 League Cups, losing 2-1 to Chelsea and Birmingham City respectively. The club had therefore not gained a major trophy since the 2005 FA Cup until the 17th of May 2014, when spearheaded by the then club record acquisition Mesut Ozil, Arsenal beat Hull City in the 2014 FA Cup final, coming back from a 2-0 deficit to win the match 3-2. A year later, Arsenal appeared in the FA Cup final for a second time in a row, which they defeated Aston Villa 4-0 in the final, and becoming the most successful club, therefore, in the tournament's history, with 12 titles, a record which Manchester United would actually equal the following season. Arsenal later won the FA Cup for a record 13th time, defeating Chelsea 2-1 in the 2017 final, and once more becoming the outright leader in terms of FA Cups won. The victory also saw Wenger becoming the first manager in English football history to win 7 FA Cups. However, in that same season, Arsenal did finish 5th in the league. For the first time, they had finished outside of the top 4 since before Wenger had arrived in 1996. After another unspectacular league season the following year, Wenger announced his departure from the club on the 20th of April 2018, after 22 years as manager. His decision was met by responses of praise throughout English and world football from many pundits and former players, who also thanked him for developing them as people. His final home match in 5-0 win over Burnley, where his entrance was met to a standing ovation by supporters. The final match under the Wenger era was a 1-0 away victory against Huddersfield. After conducting an overhaul in the club's operating model to coincide with Wenger's departure, Basque Spaniard Unai Emery was named as the club's new head coach on the 23rd of May 2018. He would become the club's first ever head coach, although there isn't much difference to be fair, while also their second ever manager from outside the United Kingdom. In Emery's first season, Arsenal finished 5th in the Premier League and finished as runners-up in the Europa League. On the 29th of November 2019, Emery was sacked after a 2-1 defeat at home to Eintracht Frankfurt in the Europa League group stages. The club were on a 7-game winless run across all competitions, and there was an 8-point gap to 4th place in the Premier League after 13 games. Former player and assistant first-team coach Freddie Ljungberg was appointed as the interim head coach, and on the 20th of December 2019, Arsenal appointed their former midfielder and club captain Mikel Arteta as their new head coach on a 3.5-year contract. He joined from Manchester City, having worked there as an assistant manager. Arsenal finished the league season in 8th place, which has been their lowest finish since 1994-95. But they have won their first trophy under Arteta by beating Chelsea 2-1 to earn a record-extending 14th FA Cup title. They have also now gone on to win the FA Community Shield recently. So I hope you have enjoyed that very much of the first episode of this new series. Next week, because I'm planning to do this weekly, I'm planning to do Aston Villa. So see you then.